Melantha Hodge. How you feeling, Melly Mel?
All right, let's go.
Is it okay if I still call you Melly Mel?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. No, the Los Angeles LGBT Center is the largest organization in the world.
Yes, we're the largest LGBT organization in the world. We have almost 700 employees.
Concentration is the game. Keep the rhythm, or you'll be out the game.
Chris Brown's mom, who was co-managing at the time, hired you to also assist them.
I remember when I first started working with them, I was like, "Yo, you gotta look for this kid. Like he is so talented." Everyone's like, "Yeah, okay, Melantha. Yeah, okay, Melantha." And then like you said, 2 months later, he had the #1 song in the country, and I was like, "I told you."
I'ma make a statement day by day. Y'all better come my way. Y'all better come my way. Okay, and say y'all better come my way. I'ma make a statement day by day.
And welcome to Jampacked. I'm your host Jameela, and I have quite a special guest for us today. She is the founder of 1OFAKIND Entertainment, which provides marketing and entertainment guidance to individuals, groups, brands, and companies who want to increase their impact among consumers. They also build positive working relationships with its clients based on effective teamwork, creativity, and integrity. And let's not forget, she is also the strategic partnership manager at the Los Angeles LGBT Center. And she was formerly the project manager, also doing marketing and communications for them as well. You may have also seen her op-ed piece in The Advocate, titled, "As a Lesbian in Hip Hop, I'm Living Empire." And she, just to give you a little bit of background of her level of greatness that has decided to play in the shenanigans of Jampacked today. She went to Syracuse University, where she graduated with a double major in marketing and finance and a minor in music industry. During her college years, she worked her way from research director to music director at the local radio station WJPZ Z89. And she also might have been, she was also an on-air disc jockey, a DJ, during the Slammin' 7 at 7, the primetime slot, and the Danger Zone mix show. She also served as an influential member of the student-run record label Marshall Street Records. And just to give you a deeper background of how credentialed she is, she has interned at MBK Entertainment, home of artists including my favorite, the multi-Grammy award-winning Alicia Keys, executive assistant for Chris Brown Entertainment and the Tina Davis Company. And she fast-forwarded 6 years later. She had the opportunity to reunite with the Chris Brown team and tour internationally. She served as the VIP soundcheck and merchandise coordinator on Chris Brown's Carpe Diem World Tour. And in between that time, she poured her heart and creative mind into working at the Universal Motown Records on projects involving the marketing campaigns of artists including Akon, Erykah Badu, Stevie Wonder, Ashanti, Busta Rhymes, Melanie Fiona, Kid Cudi, Chantel, Cat DeLuna, and many more. And she was also approached by the Title IX Productions to join their team, and then she soon engulfed herself and her efforts in the release of Melanie Fiona's second album, The MF Life. It was this album where she actually received her very first marketing credit, and she also served her time as LaToya Luckett's day-to-day manager and road manager. I bring to y'all the one and the only Melantha Hodge. I had like a high pitch. Well, even though I'm losing my voice, it was like a high pitch. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for jumping into the shenanigans pool of Jampacked. This is awesome.
No, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. I'm excited to dive in, see what you want to ask me about, what you want to talk about.
I'm excited. We here and we just gonna roll with it. We've so your drink of choice is actually Tito's vodka with pineapple juice and cranberry juice.
Yes.
So, was there a particular reason why you decided on those drinks?
Yeah, so I'm not really an alcohol drinker like that. Like, I don't like the taste of alcohol. But when I do drink, I like fruity flavored drinks, sweet drinks. And I chose Tito's because Tito's, they're actually very supportive of the LGBT community. And I know this because they sponsor a lot of the Centers events.
Nice.
So, yeah, ever since they really came on board, like, I like them. And I just like how it's smooth and, it doesn't really give me much of a hangover and stuff like that. So, yeah, I like Tito's. And then, I love pineapple juice and mixed with the cranberry. So that's the concoction.
Nice. I dig it. I tried to give you the good version first before someone strong-handed some cranberry juice and vodka after it wasn't shaken or anything. But we won't call out that producer or anything like that. But yes, I'm enjoying it. Probably a little too much, but I'm trying not to get as hammered before the show or the beginning part of the show. So we'll see how this goes. But I appreciate you being here. And for those listening for the first time, you may hear my trusty Papillon Chihuahua, Zora, pitter-patting around here. Right now, she's kind of nestled up next to the pillow next to Melantha. Or shall I say Melly Mel?
Yeah, Melly Mel.
Melly Mel in the building. I love it. And so for those, I apologize about my voice. I had a good time at gay softball. It got very close several times, and I just felt like I really needed to make my voice present.
Yeah, it's very distinctive now.
It is very, it's like, hey, girl, what's going on? Yeah, but that's, so I apologize for my voice. That's,
All good.
Yeah. So let's jump into the first game. And it is called, hey, concentrate. And here is Midori to explain the rules, which is essentially concentration. Go ahead.
Okay, so it's an old school kids game, I guess, if you say, that you have to be able to stay on beat. You pick a subject and you go back and forth. When you mess up or whoever messes up, they take a drink and then I'll let you know what kind of conversation you're going to have after that. Okay?
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. Okay, so I'll start you off with the beat. I'll do the beat a few times, maybe 3 times, and start it off. And then...
the only reason is we were struggling with the beat.
Yeah,
I've
never played this game before, real. Ever.
I played this, but I was like that kid that was like, I played it twice. I played it.
Yeah.
So if you either can't stay on beat with the next item that you have for the category, or if you miss the beat and mess up the beat, you lose and you take a drink. And then I'll let you know, based off the category, I'll ask you a question that you can talk about.
Okay, so are we doing fun facts when we lose?
We're going to do, fun facts, but it will be like on the topic. So if you need me to...
Ooh, on the topic?
On the top, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right.
You ready?
How you feeling, Melly Mel?
All right, let's go.
Is it okay if I still call you Melly Mel?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. All right. All right.
Ready?
Yeah, I think so. Fuck.
Oh, I did that wrong.
No, that's the wrong one.
You know what?
No, I got it.
You know,
You guys got it. There you go.
concentration is can we have a voiceover?
Okay.
Yeah, can we, just to make sure we're singing along correctly, because
on.
we don't know the fucking lyrics. Okay.
Concentration.
Concentration
is the game. Keep the rhythm or you'll be out the game. Starting with Jameela. Subject, sexual orientation.
Lesbian.
Wow. Okay, wait. That's a try. Because it's like you have to do this, and then I'm thinking, and then I stop, and then...
Yeah. That's how my eyes got big. I was like, oh my God.
Just for everybody out there, there's over 100, I believe, sexual orientations, like 113 sexual orientations.
Are there really?
Yes.
Okay.
Los Angeles LGBT Center. Listen, and just for those that need to know, the Los Angeles LGBT Center is the largest organization in the world.
Yes,
Yes.
we're the largest LGBT organization in the world. We have almost 700 employees, up to 8 locations across LA now. We service 42,000 client visits per month across all our different programs and services. So
Nice.
we do a lot.
Nice. Yeah, y'all really do. Yeah. I'm excited. We still need your help. Like,
Are we starting this over?
so next round of subjects.
Subject, social media platforms. Old and new.
Starting with
Melantha.
Okay. Wait.
fuck.
Go. Okay, this is the okay. Instagram,
Facebook,
Twitter,
Blackplanet.
MySpace,
Damn. Friendster.
Tinder,
Damn. Yahoo. Personals.
okay, Grinder,
Craigslist.
Mi Gente,
Goddamn. I'm gonna take a drink. Oh shit. While I take this drink, you want to give us some fun facts from the last round while I try to figure out my...
From the sexual orientation round or from...
Yeah, the sexual orientation. Oh, no, that was a practice round. My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
So from the social media platforms, I guess you guys can talk about maybe the best or worst social media handle you've seen from somebody.
Oh, shit.
best or worst.
Oh, God. And we can basically make it up.
Well, no, because people design their social medias certain ways. They go back and they redo it or they delete a whole bunch of things.
There are not that many memorable motherfuckers out here. Can we do a different subject? I just need to submit that.
Okay, well, is there a way that you design your own social media or MySpace, how you had your MySpace? Do you remember what kind of song you had in your background on your MySpace? Remember when that was a thing? When you go on somebody's page.
Black Planet memory.
You have it? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you've got Black Planet. Yeah, you've got Black Planet stories. You got Black Planet stories.
No, I mean, thanks to Black Planet, that's really how I guess came to my senses that I was like attracted to women. Because I remember it was my freshman year. I was in my dorm. I was on Black Planet, like just bored in the chat rooms.
While you were watching that Howard Stern.
Yeah, you remember that, yeah. So I was watching Howard Stern, and he was interviewing some model, and she was talking about her first experience with a woman, and that kind of just got my curiosity going, and for the first time I decided to go in the lesbian chat room, nervous as hell, and I went in there, and some girl started talking to me. She saw that I went to Syracuse because I had my school listed on my page, and she brought her friend into the room, and her friend went to my school. Yeah. She just mind you, I was nervous as. Can I curse?
Yeah, of course.
I was nervous as fuck.
fuck. You were nervous as fuck.
I was nervous as fuck because I'm like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, she doesn't think I'm gay. Like, what the fuck am I doing? But at the same time, like my curiosity was going, and she started talking to me. Her name was Kendra. Met up. We ended up meeting up a couple of days later, and from there it's pretty much a wrap. But like, thanks to Black Planet, like that's. Yeah. And Howard Stern, the show, that's really like,
Well, I mean, the way that you came out was actually very interesting. It's a really good story. And that's actually one of my questions.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But, like you basically came out on a family trip. Well, to your mom and to your sister. No, to your sisters.
Yeah, because I was,
and then,
I was online. I was on AIM. You remember AIM back in AIM days?
AIM was the shit. Yeah.
I don't even remember how I first met that girl at the time. It was probably on Blackplanet or something. I don't remember. But yeah, I was talking to her, and her name was something with lady in it. Right?
Yeah.
So it was a dead giveaway. My youngest sister snuck up behind me while I was chatting with her and saw me. You know, I said something that was obviously flirtatious.
Yeah.
And then from there, she went and like got my other sister Mandela, and Mandela was like the troublemaker in our family.
That's the one with the big mouth, apparently, from what I hear. Just from what I hear.
Yeah. So yeah, at that point, like, yeah, it was just, she was constantly on me, like, what, Melantha, what's going on, whatever. You know, and I couldn't deal with it. I was like, okay, I get it. I sat them down that night, and both my sisters, and I told them. Yeah. You know, and at first they were kind of like, you know, surprised, whatever, but they were like, oh, you know, we love you no matter what, type of thing. But then they were on like, okay, when are you going to tell my mom? And then they kept asking me every day on that trip, that family trip. Yeah. And then I just ended up telling my mom. Yeah.
About that process, you had actually expected your dad to react worse than your mom did. Mm-hmm. What was it about that made you think that your dad was going to react worse than your mom would? When you came out?
I don't know, just because how my dad was, like, the way he grew up, just how he was just as a person, and he was very opinionated, and, you know, he was very tough. He was very into politics and this and that. And my mom was always the one who was always, you know, the more laid back one, and the more woo-saw one. And I don't know, I just always just pictured her having a better reaction, but it was actually the opposite. And my mom, you know, like, she had got upset at me because she thought people were influencing me in college. Yeah. She thought I was being influenced, and like, but lo and behold, I also know it stems from stuff in her past that she experienced. Where, like, you know, because someone had like come on to her, and, you know, I think that just probably triggered those
triggered
memories.
her to think like
thinking that someone's trying to, like, you know, just so I think that it stemmed from that more so. Yeah. But yeah, then I mean, she was fine, like, once she saw like it wasn't a phase or anything like that. But I think it was more so her own personal experience, and then probably like what she's seen in the past where she reacted like that. Yeah.
No, it was so interesting though, because when I heard that, it kind of reminded me of my coming out experience, which was, and I thought my dad was going to take it worse than my mom did, but it was also my mom that was like, it's the people that you're around. It's the influence. You know, that's not my daughter. Like, what are you talking? I'm like, do you forget that there was a BMX bike involved? Like, you got me a BMX bike when I was younger. Like, that's what I wanted. I didn't want a pink bike. I didn't want a feminine, you know, super pink, like, feminine handles. Like, none of that. Like, give me a fucking BMX bike. I want to try to do tricks that I'm probably not going to do tricks in. But it was so interesting to hear your story because it reminded me a lot of my story. Yeah. I feel like it also brought me a lot closer to my dad. With, you know, like that. It really resonated with me. When I was playing sports, you know, and I'd be in the gym class, I'd be super embarrassed and like, you know, but I didn't realize that like I was attracted to girls just yet. You know, like for you, you know, and I know eventually when you came out, it was still kind of that process of, am I bisexual? Am I pansexual? Or whatever the case was. What was that going through process, kind of elimination, the process of elimination after coming out? What was that like? Like, what was that deciding factor for you? Were you like, you know what, about that lesbian life, 100%? Like, ain't no coming back, son. Ain't no coming back, son.
I think it's like as the more the more I talked to women online, and the more like I became comfortable with, like a lot of people don't even know this story, but, you know, during this whole phase of me really trying to like figure myself out, that same girl that my sister like caught me like talked to, she
Lady something.
Yeah, I don't remember her name right now.
Let's call her Lady.
It was a lot of ladies ago.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I actually like was talking to her for a
Yeah.
while, just online, and like every time like she was like, oh, like every time she was supposed to like come visit me, or you know, because it was like a long distance thing, right?
Yeah.
She would always make up some like crazy excuse, like someone was sick. Or someone this or happened, like someone got in an accident or something, like stuff that was like crazy, like we don't want to question it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it got to the point where like I ended up being a game to her.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Like we got to the point where I'm like, yo, you need to like send me your flight itinerary, whatever. She sent it, and then this is when I was like, my older sister, because she's gay too. But anyways, that's another story. But
family.
She was like, she actually like called up the airline. And it wasn't a real flight, so she had someone literally make up a fake flight itinerary
with the logo looking
and then,
like
so at that point, like everything,
right, exactly. Like that feels like a catfish.
I never met her.
In my soul, that felt like a catfish.
I never met her. Like she ended up telling me that I was like, someone had dared her, one of her friends, to see if she could get some, lead someone on, like lead them on, which she did for a while, because every time she made up some crazy thing, and I'm like, okay, like you don't want to question that stuff. And,
no.
But yeah, long story short, that happened, and yeah, but yeah, at the same time, even though I was a game, she ended up, having feelings for me.
Having feelings for you, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And then she wanted to like continue on, and I was like, hell fucking
shit.
No.
Oh my god.
Even like a couple years after that, she would still like, oh no, she ended up like, this was when I was in college. She ended up like sending flowers to my class and like all this stuff. And like, to this, I never met her. Even fast forward years later, like she came out of nowhere and was trying to like rekindle stuff with me. Wow. Yeah, it's
Is there a part of you that's curious just to meet her though? Is there a part of you that's like to this day, like in this moment, Melly Mel, that you would want to meet her?
No, because like this was like several years ago. I don't even know how many now. Maybe it was sometime once I moved out here. I reconnected with her online out of nowhere somewhere. I don't remember how. And yeah, she was still trying to meet me. She was in a relationship at the time and all this stuff. And I was just like, it just wasn't gonna happen. Like I was just like, I couldn't, I can't trust someone at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Because you've already told me too many fairy tales. Like, what are we doing at this point? Like you telling me more fucking novels and shit, but you're not acting on any of the stuff you're telling me. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So a lot of people have no idea that, but that was my real first experience really trying to get to know a girl.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, is there? Wow. Damn, I'm like trying to process that. Like
I know, I didn't tell her because I felt dumb as hell. I'm like, wow, like. Because like I have a big heart like that. So when someone tells me like, oh, their grandmother is really ill or so-and-so got in an accident, I'm just like, okay. Yeah.
I watch like Catfish way too much where like everything you were saying, I was like, catfish. Where I was like, Jameela, like filter that shit out. And then Candy was like, oh, that sounds like a catfish to me. Like, and by the way, we got Candy behind the camera today. Hey. But like that just sounded like a total catfish. But I mean, and a lot of those catfishes end up having real feelings to it.
Yeah, she was trying to play a game, but in the end, and getting to know me, she ended up catching feelings, which continued on. You know? Wow.
Damn. And that was your first experience with that.
Yeah. That was my only experience with
my
first and only,
Did you ever, I mean,
with someone who was like just making her, like, to this day, I don't know, like, her name's Anna, but aside from that, like.
Hey, Anna, if you're listening. No, I mean, that just kind of reminds me of all of my weird, different Black Planet, experiences. And Black Planet was just kind of this random space. I mean, there weren't other ones that you were like interested in possibly talking to, or Anna was like the one that you were taking it more seriously with?
At first I think I was just chatting with different girls.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
We like talked on the phone.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like all like online. But yeah.
But in that moment, did you know like you were 100% like I just want to deal with women, or was it like?
Not at first. I would say the first few months I was still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think as time went on, but then when the following summer, which is like a year after I came out, that's when and mind you, that didn't turn me off from meeting women online, surprisingly, right?
Yeah.
Because I've met all kinds of women online. But
yes,
that fast forward to when I finally met someone and then, ended up being in a relationship with them, I think that was, really the defining moment.
Yeah.
Where I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Because that was my first real sexual experience with a woman.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I had already kissed, you heard the story. Like I already kissed someone, whatever.
Yeah.
But that was my first time actually having sex with a woman.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And what I felt then, like, because, I had a couple experiences with men before, but like what that connection with a woman just mentally, emotionally, and physically, it didn't even compare to what, any sort of attraction I ever had for men.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's kind of,
Nice. Okay. So we're going to play the next game. Didn't want you to get too comfortable in the corner over there. So the next game we're going to play is Twitter this. Twitter this. Hey, Twitter this. Go ahead. Explain the rules.
Okay, so we have some tweets that we pulled off Twitter. So we want you to I'll tell you a tweet, and I want you to guess if it's from Chris Brown or Jaden Smith.
You've got you've got a connection, a little bit of a connection with Chris Brown, as stated in the intro. You were and before we get into that game, you went from temping at ASCAP to networking with Chris Brown's former manager when he was 16 on Drive Records, when he was first breaking on the scene, as well as with Tina Davis. Tina Davis, that was the name of his former manager. Mm-hmm. And you interned for her. And then you quickly, within a month, became her assistant. And then within a month of that, you like how I'm telling you what you did.
Yep.
So then within a month of that, within a month of that, Chris Brown's mom, who was co-managing at the time, hired you to also assist them. And then within 2 months, Run It blew up. Chris Brown's song, Run It, blew up. I just wanted to repeat that for the people that didn't catch it the first time. And you were with him that first year when he was blowing up. And that has to be quite an experience. How was that entire experience, that first year? And how did you and Chris Brown and his team even balance that chaos and that entire whirlwind of your entire life and world changing?
Yeah, so when I when I started interning with her, with Tina Davis, and then I became her assistant, and then I was assisting Chris and his mom. Mm-hmm. I actually was staying with family initially out in the Bronx. Mm-hmm. And then once they...
In the Bronx?
Yeah.
Oh, shit!
And then once they...
when they
all hired me, because that's when I left ASCAP, because then I was able, because between all of them, I was hired, full time. I actually, because there was so much going on, I actually moved out to Jersey, and I was staying in his manager's house because that's where her office was based too. Yeah, so that's how much engulfed I was. Where I was staying there, because she was never there because she was always on the road with Chris. Yep. So I stayed there. Obviously it's free rent and all that. So I stayed there, and then the office was there, so I worked out of there, but. It was a lot because, to see a 16-year-old kid go from... I remember when I first started working with him, I was like, yo, you got to look for this kid. Like, he is, he is so talented. Everyone's like, yeah, okay, Melantha, yeah, okay, Melantha. And then, yeah, like you said, 2 months later, he had the #1 song in the country. And I was like, I told you.
Timing
you know,
is
many
a
people
motherfucker.
I told that to. And
you
then,
told your whole entire family and your
told my
friends.
family, my friends, yeah. And so it was just like he blew up literally overnight. When I started working with him, he was getting like 3,000 or something a show.
Yeah.
And then fast forward a year later, between all the success he had with, you know, all his different singles that were released, all his videos, all the awards he was already winning, you know, all the tours that he was on.
Yeah.
By the time I left, he was making 100,000 a show, and that's just you got to realize that, put that in perspective. That's all just within a year.
Yeah,
that's how fast he blew up. Like I remember, like there was plenty of times where we would just be riding in the car, and like Chris would literally, because you know he loved the attention. He would stick his head out the window when he sees, you know, saw some girls just on the street. These girls went crazy. They would like run after us. Yeah. Like when we were on tour doing shows, like sometimes we were barricaded in because there were so many fans. With the buses, the tour buses couldn't even leave. So yeah, it was a lot. I mean, it was amazing, right? To like be a part of that and really see someone blow up like that. But at the same time, you know, it just got to the point with me where it was a 24/7 job, right? I was an executive assistant. I was a personal assistant. I dealt with the label. I dealt with the booking agent, the publicist, the you know, the tours. On top of doing personal stuff for them. Where I didn't have no time to hang out with friends. Like I could barely talk to my family. I was literally attached to my phone. You know, like where it was 24/7, and it just got to the point where. Like, I told them, like, I need you guys to hire more people. Because, like, I was starting to feel burnt out already. I was like, you need to hire more people. You know, fortunately, you know, they did at the time. Plus, there was, like, the drama going on within the camp at the time. So I just got to the point where, like, as hard as it was, because at the time, people thought I was crazy, too. Like, Melantha, like, why are you walking away? But, like, at the same time, I had to look within myself. Because even though the success was great and all that stuff, I'm like, okay, I can't continue to operate like this. Like it's, you know, it's tearing me down already. And so, I mean, it was a really, don't get me wrong, it was an extremely hard choice to make, but I had to at that point because I was happy, but I was getting burnt out already. So I ended up leaving, and they ended up hiring 3 people to replace me. That's how much work I was doing.
You're doing 3 people's work.
They hired 3 people. So then Chris's mom, Joyce, hired someone to help her, and then Tina hired 2 people to assist her. So that's, just to give you you know, of how much work I was doing. And then I took a break, and then I was, like, looking around for another job, and I was working at some media company at the time. But then, that's when I got connected to Shanti Dawes. Have you ever heard of her? No. So she's a veteran in the music business. Nice. So she actually went to Syracuse. So my favorite professor from Syracuse connected me to her. Nice. So that's how she became my mentor. Okay. She knew I was looking around again. And then, one day she just called me up, and she was like, do you want to interview to work under me at Universal Motown? Nice. So that's how I ended up there. Cause, you know.
What was, to you, the biggest surprise to you being behind the scenes of that entire whirlwind?
I think the biggest surprise was just seeing, you know, how an artist, and especially like a 16-year-old boy, the impact he can have on people. You know, just as in, because not only was the music, you know, good and hot, but like he's an amazing performer. And that's actually what really captured me initially, is because when I first saw him perform it was his first time ever performing for like press or anyone. And it was at Planet Hollywood in New York. And when I saw him perform, I'm like, you know, it wasn't just the music. It was the fact that like he's such a great performer. And this is just when he was like really starting out. And I think just seeing the impact he had on fans, like, and not just like little girls and little boys, but like everyone. Like all kinds of people. One time I went to, we had a show when House of Blues was still over there in West Hollywood. we had a show there, and he had Gabrielle Union out there.
What?
I met Gabrielle Union, Regina Hall. What? All of them were there, like, yeah, because they just, you know what I'm saying? When I saw that, I was like, damn, like, he really, like, he's
like
really
getting,
yeah. And, you know, like, Gabrielle Union, she's, like, my celebrity crush, right? So I'm like, wow, like, Gabrielle Union is here to watch Chris Brown at the House of Blues.
This is everything. Yeah. Gabrielle Union.
Yeah, she was there at the backstage. Yeah.
She is everything.
Yeah.
She is everything. She and Alicia Keys. I love me some Alicia Keys. Yeah. I don't know. Like, did you ever get to meet Alicia Keys working at?
Yeah, when I was interning there during that summer, it was the summer before my senior year of college. One day she did come into the office. So like I was right at the front desk, and that's when I first met her, and I introduced myself. So because prior to that, I was a fan already, right? I had seen her in concert, all that. So I got to meet her.
I'm silently squealing, y'all. Like that's fucking dope. Yeah. That's so dope. Like, I've always loved Alicia Keys. So when I saw that, I was like, what? And I've like seen her kind of in passing, like at the BET Awards when I was working for PR doing the PR escort, whatever, red carpet escort thing for the BET Awards. But I went to her concert, and it was the Songs in A minor at not the Hollywood Bowl, but the Griffith Park one, the Greek. And I saw her there, and it was like, and that's when she was rocking them cornrows, and I was like, girl, see with me, girl. Yeah. But I was so like locked in. I was like, I should have known then. I had a severe girl crush, but it was more than a girl crush. Yeah. But like it's just Alicia Keys. Like, she connected with me, and I melted. Yeah. Like her and Marsha Ambrosius. And have you worked with Marsha?
No, I haven't worked with her. I mean, I've met her too, but I haven't worked with her yet.
Yeah, like those two are just incredible singers. Like, who would you say is your favorite singer, songstress?
Okay, I get a lot of... because...
And R.I.P. Aretha. R.I.P. Aretha, but let's keep
I like
going.
Different people for different reasons.
Okay. That's all right. We here for it.
So right now, my favorite is Beyonce, because Beyonce is just an overall amazing performer.
For sure.
I've gone to several of her concerts now.
Yeah.
Just like in terms of just like really vocally, and I guess I get crap for this at times. Because this is from back when I was in high school, like January, but Mariah Carey.
Okay, I do that. Listen, I'll still listen to One Sweet Day.
No, because like when you really, I know she's had a lot of issues and all this stuff, whatever. But but just vocally and just like her music throughout the years, and like I mean she's. Who she is as just you know, like what she's done with music. I've appreciated. She's had her issues, but like I'm just saying from a vocal standpoint. Who else? Alicia. I've always loved Alicia ever since when I first went to her concerts. I remember in college, and me and my friends,
Alicia Keys.
We went to one of her concerts up in Syracuse, and then we literally drove all the way to DC to go to another concert like the next day. 2 days later or something like that, just because like we were so hooked. Yeah. So Alicia's always been a favorite of mine.
I love Alicia Keys. Like, I mean, was that during the time where she was doing the mixtapes with Crucial Keys?
No, this is when her first album came out. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that was so that was Songs in A minor. Yeah. Okay, because around that time she had mixtapes come out. And I promote the fuck out of this mixtape. But there's a song called Ghetto Girl where she's actually rapping on the song. Fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Yeah. Look that shit up. I uploaded that shit on YouTube. I don't remember the password, so I can't take it down. So it's just kind of there in YouTube history. But I mean, with Mariah Carey, I mean, did you see her go through that breakdown on TRL? And I don't know what it was, but I was like, yo, I think she's bipolar. Like, she's having like a real breakdown, showing up to TRL with just like a cart of ice cream, like just handing that shit out random. And Carson Daly is like, oh, hello, all right, we've got Mariah Carey here. I mean, as a Mariah Carey fan, like, what is going through your mind at that time?
I mean, like, what I realize about working in this business is that I've seen how the business itself can affect people. Just like, okay, Chris, like, we all know what happened with him, with Rihanna, and all the other drama after that, and all the instances and everything. But, like, when I knew Chris, when he was 16, 17, none of that was present. You know what I mean? Like, he was just a teenage boy living life, having fun, you know, loving it. And I just feel like things that he experienced within working the business and people and what he was exposed to, and at such a young age, you have to realize that too, like how that could affect people.
Yeah, that's so true.
So yeah, I mean, so now when I see people going through stuff, like I just know that, like, and just things that I've personally seen, I just know that, like, how it's not easy at all. You know, like, being in this business, there's so much pressure on you. There's a lot of shady people. There are people trying to manipulate you. There are people trying to manipulate him at a young age. So, you know, I take all that into account, and, like, you know, he also suffered from mental issues, you know, that came out years later. But, you know, in hindsight, it makes sense too.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's like, you never know what people are dealing with. People, when you're on this pedestal because you're a celebrity and you're in the limelight, people hold you to all these standards, but then you have to realize that these are regular people too. Who go through regular shit on a daily basis. Like, but because they have this status and this stardom, like, people are so quick to judge them and to shoot them down. And, you know, like, I know that he genuinely regrets what happened with, you know, Rihanna.
Absolutely.
You know, but, like, like, in that moment, you know, I know a whole nother side of the story, but it's just like, people, you know, when you're caught up in a certain moment, like, people also have to realize, like, things trigger people.
Absolutely. Everybody has a trigger.
Yeah, everyone has a trigger. People do dumb shit all the time. Not to make up any excuses, but you also have to realize too, like, if someone also is suffering from mental issues as well, like,
absolutely,
it doesn't. It only adds to it. Have you seen his documentary?
I was actually about to play it.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, it's on Netflix. I have it. Like,
he's very honest in there.
Yeah, you know? I was gonna watch it. Yeah, for sure. And I want to watch it because I'm very curious to jump in his brain and understand what makes sense to him and how he receives and perceives the world. And we had a guest on the show before, and Candy, funny enough, was behind the camera, and he was talking about the same thing. And it wasn't like he was saying that he has I don't know if it was, he said he had a mental illness at that time, but he's like, you know, I'm concerned about him. And that's all he said. He said, I'm going to leave it at that. And I know that if you're in the industry, you have to keep it kind of open-ended and very vague. But I think it's the public doesn't consider people's backgrounds and what people have been through and what their triggers are and the people that they're with, if it's toxic or any of that. I think we just persecute, and that's it. I mean, if you could say something to him now, like, what would you possibly tell him?
Well, I would say that I'm proud of him now because I could see, you know, I mean, from afar, because it's not like I'm talking to him.
No, you're not.
Just like, I can see that, you know, he's worked on himself and he's changed. I also think that royalty has a big part to do with that too. You know,
absolutely.
Just helping him grow up.
Absolutely.
And helping him realize that, you know, it's not just about him, that he has a daughter to raise. And, you know, his mother has been very helpful, you know, in supporting him throughout all the years. Because, you know, obviously she's gone through a lot. So, I would just tell him that, like, I know you've been through a lot, you know, but, like, the fact that, it's now, 2018, I was working with him in 2005, so that's 13 years ago, and he's still, like, he managed, like, where he fell, and, like, he, you know, he went down, but he's still at a level where he's been able to maintain and continue to succeed despite like, yeah, and there's always going to be people, like there's always people who are going to be who either hate Chris Brown, who love Chris Brown, or people who are kind of in the middle.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's how it's
Absolutely.
always going to be
Absolutely.
at this point, just because based off the history. So it's just a matter, you know, I just don't know, like, people who just hold on to that, like, so much. Like, why is it really worth it to just hold on to that anger?
Yeah. I mean, someone like that, I feel like they're definitely more susceptible to and more open to the bullshit. Not necessarily the bullshit, but like the people that aren't really there for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing well, people will like want to be in your circle, will be in your world. And it's almost like a good portion of that, and this is just speaking as a, ignorant outsider, but it just seems like there are people in his circle that don't really care about him genuinely.
Well, yeah.
And then he just needs people in his circle that care about him genuinely.
No, I can attest to that.
That need him.
Yeah, there's been some people I've seen around, and, weren't the best influences for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he wants to do good, but there's just these people, these hanger-oners, and he's just susceptible. He's like, oh, well, this person seems dope. This person seems dope. I'm going to keep him in the circle, and then they, like, fuck him over. You know what I mean? And they're not looking out for his best interest that. And that usually used to drive me crazy working with artists. And thank goodness Candy wasn't one of them. But, doing PR and marketing promotions, and you have one of a kind entertainment. How has that been working with artists, trying to get them off the ground and trying to push them forward?
I'll start now and then backtrack, but I actually right now I'm taking a break from management because for one, it's an investment.
It really is.
Like, especially when you're working with someone who isn't already off the ground and who doesn't already have their momentum. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work trying to break someone from the ground up. I was managing. This was like 4 years ago now. Yeah, 2014. I started managing this hip hop artist out here named Tyron Brown. Mm-hmm. And we had a good momentum with him. Like, people didn't know who he was, but because we were out and about and doing this and doing that, like, he started to gain a name for himself. Yeah. I stuck with him for 3 years. But last year I just got to the point where, sometimes like I felt like his direction at the time was focusing more on like the songwriting route. Yeah. Where kind of, losing focus on the artist route where me personally, like, I just don't want to I have nothing, songwriters are great, but like, I also wanted someone who was, also still focusing on being an artist. Absolutely. And I also just felt like the chemistry was off. Yeah. By that point, because there had been some, situations and whatnot, but at that point, I just had to realize, like, okay, is this worth it to me anymore? Yeah. And I also was dealing with some like personal stuff at the time, and I was just like, I decided to part ways. Yeah. It was hard because, like, obviously I had already invested 3 years, but at the same time, I'm just like, okay. At the end of the day, do you see this progressing? Like, do you see it? And at that point, I'm like, okay, I tried. I tried. Like, I've worked through all this. We accomplished a lot, but there's certain things that could have been better. Yeah. Or if the direction is changing, or if you feel like that chemistry and the fact that you guys still on the same page? Because that's what really matters. If you're still on the same page. Yeah. There's a lot of people who, they get managers and they think that everything's going to happen overnight. Mm-hmm. That's not the reality of the situation. Yeah. Like, you have to work hard as a team. I can't be more committed and want it more than you. Yeah. And so, like, that's just kind of the reality I came to. I was managing this other artist before that, this female singer, and with her, once again, starting really from the ground. With her, it was more of like a trust situation where I I just like it's like when I get to that point where I'm like, okay, if we don't connect, like how are we gonna make anyone else believe?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so with her, I just once again I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I invest a lot, right? Like when I believe in someone, like I'll, put my all into it and I'll push, but if I don't get the same in return, or if I don't feel like, there's just that synergy there.
Yeah.
Then
and that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge, and that's so important.
No, I know so many people, like, they commit and they really want to work, but like everything isn't necessarily meant to happen, especially when it comes to management. Like you got to also be real is that you're investing all your time, energy, and even finances sometimes where you're taking a chance on someone, but you're not reaping it. You're not going to reap any financial benefits unless that artist is making money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it really is an investment.
Yeah.
You're not getting paid a salary.
Yeah.
You're not it's really you believing in that person, thinking that okay, they are going to take off one day.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I had my company, Hardcore Industries, and I get it. Mm-hmm. And I had to charge a retainer and all that good stuff, but I completely get it. Mm-hmm. It's a true investment of time, energy, and love and passion and everything in your being. And speaking of, let's go to Twitter. That was a terrible smooth transition all at once. But we're gonna play Twitter this though. We get it. Yay. She puts her passion and all that shit, and we just fuck it up. I'm sorry. All right, and here are the rules for Twitter this, though.
You want me to explain the rules again? Yeah?
Why not?
Okay.
For shits and giggles. Okay. Just, we've been drinking, we've been talking, we've been conversing.
We have to guess if it's Chris Brown or Jaden Smith.
Oh, well, she remembers.
Oh, my God.
Our job is done.
Oh, shit. Jameela's the drunk one in the room now. All right, first tweets up to bat. And we have to give a fun fact.
Okay.
Yes, if you get it wrong, you give a fun fact about your life that potentially nobody knows.
Potentially, hopefully nobody knows.
Hopefully nobody knows deep, dark secrets.
Deep, dark secrets. Ooh.
So the first tweet that what did you say?
I said Melantha.
I already gave you guys a secret.
I know. You
I admitted that I was a catfish.
That was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing. Can I just say, low key? Well, maybe I should keep it for a fun fact. I've also been a catfish.
You've been a catfish?
You catfish?
I've catfished motherfuckers. Yeah.
You have?
I have.
Oh, hell no.
I have.
Out of here.
Back in the day when it was AOL chat before AIM chat.
So you would just lead people on? What'd you do?
Like low key, but then I got catfish, and then it was like a whole circle of life. Okay, so here we go. That was a free fun fact right there, son. Here we go.
You don't want to talk about it. Okay, so we can guess which one this is. The tweet said, always be thankful and humble. Was that Chris Brown or Jaden Smith?
Can you repeat that, please, for the audience and for the jury?
Okay. Always be thankful and humble.
Who has to guess?
We both.
Oh, we don't do.
So
right, go ahead.
I've just Chris Brown. You guess.
Jaden.
Jameela was right.
Huh?
So it was Chris Brown?
It was Chris Brown.
Just say who the artist is, not the...
It was Chris Brown?
Yeah,
Chris
it was
Brown.
Chris Brown.
All right, so you got to drink.
Sorry.
I swear, I don't know any of these tweets. I just want to put that out there.
I don't, I mean, I don't know them either, but I'm just guessing.
All right, so what's a fun fact?
Fun fact.
Tell us a fun fact about your
time on the road.
What?
time on the road.
Well, I don't know what the fuck you were going to say.
I love how you jumped.
I don't know. It was the vodka. It was Tito and the vodka.
Tito, damn it.
What's your sign?
You know what? I'm a Sagittarius. I like to take long walks on the beach. Okay, what were you going to say? Midori.
I was gonna say, tell me a fun fact about One of a Kind Entertainment.
Oh.
A fun fact about One of a Kind Entertainment is that I'm taking a break right now.
Hey.
No.
Yeah.
I just mean that, like I said, is that, a year ago I decided to take a break from management just because I get approached all the time, mind you, but I just needed time to like regroup and take a break. And yeah, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to ever manage anyone again.
Yeah.
It's just that right now I'm taking a break. So anyone out there who possibly needs a manager down the road, like, you never know, I might
Hit her up. Slide in them DMs. Only for professional shit. Slide in them DMs. All right. The next tweet, please.
All right. The next tweet is, be careful who you surround yourself with.
Damn. That's fucking ominous and morbid. Be careful who you surround yourself with.
I think it's Jaden.
I'm gonna say Chris Brown.
Who is it?
Oh, fuck.
It's Chris Brown.
What the heck? Are you sure you didn't?
Yeah.
I don't know if I just said Chris Brown because you said Jaden. Low key, I was gonna say Jaden.
I'm trying to do stuff that's not as obvious, but okay. It's
Okay,
not
well,
working.
okay, so
All right. So yeah, you lost again. You can
Okay.
take a drink
Shit.
and tell me a fun fact about I don't know, your love life or lack of there'of.
damn,
love life.
Midori's just diving the fuck in right now. That's fine.
Well,
That's why she's a
shit,
producer.
it's not really fun.
Uh-oh.
Is it be fun?
Fact.
Facts.
Fact.
Okay, so I went through a very traumatic experience in my last relationship. Not my previous one, my last one. Where, you know, we were talking about the mental issues and so it's very real.
Absolutely.
Where I was,
Didn't
I
mean
was
to be
dating
enthusiastic.
someone for a little over a year. We ended up moving in together. But yeah, she started having what's the right word to say?
Bipolar.
I don't even know what it was. She had a break.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like out of nowhere.
She had like
Like, I
manic.
had- like, there were no-
It was like manic episodes.
Like it was like, yeah, she ended up getting hospitalized.
Yeah.
And it came
yeah.
out of nowhere. Like I didn't know. Like people always ask me, like, well, Melantha, did you see signs? I'm like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Like she had never had a history from my knowledge.
Yeah.
And yeah, like she ended up being hospitalized. I tried to be there for her. And things just went downhill from there where she ended up have you ever heard of the black Hebrew Israelites?
Yes.
So she got sucked into that.
No.
And so once that happened, because at the same time I was trying to get her help, like I was trying
Yeah.
to get her to go to a psychiatrist and figure all that stuff. What?
Did she blame you?
She ended up breaking up with me because it was a sin, you know, because she got engulfed in that and because it was a sin to be with me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my fact for you.
I dealt with an Israelite, and that was a very interesting.
You did?
This was in my hoish days, as I like to put it. My hoish days. Candy gets tickled when I talk about my hoish days when I was dealing with dudes before I knew the truth about myself within myself. But yeah, I completely understand that, like, what the Israelite life contains.
I didn't know anything about it. That's the thing, is that literally she was so freaked out about her having that mental break.
Yeah.
That she was just trying to grasp whatever, and she came across that, and then got sucked in, and then I got sucked out.
Yeah. I mean, that scares me, though. Like, it's like when you're going through something, you just kind of, you're just clamoring and just holding on to something that'll stick, and it's just like, but that's not you.
Yeah. No, yeah, so it was quite traumatic.
Go ahead. Next tweet.
Okay, the next tweet is in the studio.
Damn. Wow.
You like that, huh?
Wow. Okay, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah,
With,
you gonna
I'm
do
gonna
it.
go with Jaden because I got the other two wrong saying
Yep.
Jaden. This has to be Jaden.
You know what? I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna say Chris.
All right. It was Jaden.
Okay,
I
thank you.
figured.
I was about to say.
Right?
Ain't no way.
So just any fun fact is what we're doing?
No, I'm telling you what fun fact I want to know.
Shit.
Okay.
This is probably not a good situation to learn fun facts in. Okay, go ahead.
Well, first you have to take a drink because there's no cheating.
I appreciate you making sure we're
take
accountable.
one.
Yeah, hey, cheers.
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 Let's hear a fun fact about
Nope.
your on the road extravaganzas.
She would ask that question.
Well, because you asked me to ask her, so I'm asking you.
That's fine.
Did you hook up with anyone?
On the road? No, actually, I didn't. But, you know, it was interesting that we were talking about coming out stories. And I used to work with a band back in the day. They were an up-and-coming band. So we did, like, a lot of metal shows. You get a lot of girls that are just about that life that come to the show. And if they love the band, they love everybody associated with the band. So I had a lot of girls throw themselves at me. There was one girl that was even named Satan. Shout out to Satan. Yeah, like, whatever. Her name was Satan. I'm going to keep it at that. You can find her in Canada if you're really looking for her in Vancouver specifically. But she might be knowing people from Hells Angels. I'm just saying. But that's so appropriate. Satan and Hells Angels. I just realized that. So, no, I had a lot of girls throw themselves at me. And a lot of them would be like, "Oh, you like girls?" Or like, "Don't you like girls?" I'd be like, "No." I'd be like, "No, I don't like girls." But that was in the time I was like, "Nah." Right, shoot. I don't like girls. I don't even like talking to girls. You know, I was in that stage of like still feeling, it was still that kind of like awkward, I'm changing in the locker room, gym class kind of life.
Yeah.
But I had girls like try to hit on me, try to holler at me. And I was like, why do these girls keep trying to holler at me? I couldn't understand it for the life of me. Because I was still in my whole phase dealing with dudes. Still hadn't got my life yet. But I was like, I don't understand why all these girls think that I like girls. And I had grown-ass women trying to holler at me, and I was like in my 20s and whatever. Like, they'd be like, "Come on, girl," like blah blah blah. I'm like, yo, I don't know what you heard, but I'm not about that life. But that was my fun fact. I had a lot of girls try to holler at me, but I wasn't. I hadn't come out yet, so I wasn't even really enjoying the spread that was presented. You know, all the fun. That was presented, possible fun. Hopefully no contamination. But yeah, that was my... was that a fun fact? I don't know. That was a lot.
That's very fun.
That was like a mouthful. No pun intended. Yeah. But before we wrap it up, we usually leave with words of wisdom. You know, I know we struggled through all of these games at some point. But words of wisdom, do you have any words of wisdom for the people out there in Jampacked land?
Yeah, I would just say to be confident to, be yourself. I know a lot of people out there are struggling to, I guess, necessarily fit in or be accepted or live their truth. So I just say to just really like dig deep and realize that like you matter, and you should continue to like go after your dreams and do what you got to do to succeed, and just really live your truth.
Nice. We're doing words of wisdom. Do you have any words of wisdom?
Man, I usually think of this beforehand. And I feel like she almost
The
said
mystery
what I wanted to
voice.
Really?
Yeah.
Low key, that's kind of what I wanted to go for.
I know.
But, yeah. It's been quite a week. Or
Words of wisdom.
week and a half.
I'll say something from Lady. Have I said something from Lady Gaga? I think I have.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Jesus. Okay. Well, in the words of Lady Gaga, not verbatim because I don't remember the exact quote, but if you're ever wondering which way to go, just remember that your career will never wake up and tell you it doesn't love you anymore. So follow your dreams and live your truth and who you are, and don't go by anybody else's standards.
I dig that shit. Candy, you have any words of wisdom? I know, right? I just need a snap right now. Candy, you have any words of wisdom?
Hi guys, it's Candy. Be present and enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Yes. And I guess mine would be stay true to yourself. It doesn't matter what anybody fucking tells you. If you feel that shit in your heart, go for it. Strive for it. Work hard. Wake up thinking about that shit. Go to sleep thinking about that shit. Have anxiety about that shit. Take shit about thinking about that shit. Like, take a shower thinking about that shit. Like, that needs to be your life 24/7 for real. And just be true to yourself. Be true to what you want. Be true to your heart. Be true to yourself. And just trust in your passion. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. So how can the people reach you?
You can reach me on Instagram. That's at Melantha. That's Melantha Hodge Hodge. That's also my handle on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. And if you really, really, really are serious about connecting, you can contact me at Melantha at 1OFAKIND.com.
Nice. Yes. And for booking, how can they reach you?
Booking for Jampacked, you can reach me at Lovedori, that's LUVDORI, at jampackedshow.com.
And don't go sliding in Melantha's DMs unless it's business related.
Oh, yeah, I'm taken. So
Hey! I feel like we need
happily taken.
We need to have you back, like, to learn about all that. Yeah.
I was honestly surprised. I thought you were gonna dive into work with Melanie,
Toya,
and the center.
Yes, I wanted to, but
I know.
We got so off track and had too much fun. So yeah, part two.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
part two.
Midori's about to hit you up tonight. Talk about when you gonna come back. Candy, how can they hit you up? How can they find you?
Queen Candy Cole.
Did you forget you speaking of Mike? I'm
sorry.
Candy is an MC. Make sure you check her out. She forgets that she has to speak.
I look crazy right now. CandyCole.com, KandyCole.com. That's Queen Candy Cole on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. You can find me at your mama's house. Okay, bye.
At your mama's house, though. And make sure you check us out on Jampacked at Jampacked Show, on Twitter and Instagram at Jampacked Show. And we're still not cool enough on YouTube, so go ahead and check us out. Jampacked Show Podcast, and you will find us on YouTube and Facebook, // one of the slashes, Jampacked Show. You will find us, and check us out every Wednesday on Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. Candy got the camera in my face, so make sure you check us out on YouTube. And we will see you on the next Jampacked.